Hello everyone, my name is Quant and welcome to some more Path of Exile. Today we're gonna take a look at my cast on Critt, Duelist. There is actually no real reason for him to be a duelist, it's just that I happen to have a duelist and I made in my cast on Critt character. It's actually that simple. As you can see, I'm level 64 and just gonna open this for sakes. I'm gonna show you how to do the cast on Critt, different abilities that are good with cast on Critt and combinations you can do with them, and kinda how I build my cast on Critt. I can go ahead and say my cast on Critt is built around the Quill Rain. And the simple reason is because it attacks fast as... yes, shit. So I pretty much go for fast attacks, but not necessarily the highest crit chance, because you can see the bow only got a 5% crit chance, and when you stack up more crit through nodes and everything, it goes on the crit on your bow. So if you have 200% increase, it would be 200% increase of 5%, so it would increase dependingly on the crit chance of your weapon. So going once, for example, will give you a high crit chance, but this gives the highest attack speed. And it's a two-handed, so you can make this into a 6-link if you want to. I don't think I can with mine, if I remember correctly. Oh, I can, because you can see it's a level 52, so I can make this into a 6-link. You can find this in lower areas, like if you are on level 10 or something like that, and then the item level will actually be lower, so it will not even be able to make a 6-link, even though it technically is the exact same weapon. So you need to be careful of that if you wanna try this build out and get a Quill Rain, and you talk to someone and try and buy it. You need to make sure that it actually got the right item level, so you don't get a Quill Rain and then you cannot make it a 6-link. Of course, just buying a Quill Rain as it is not that expensive, but 6-linking a Quill Rain or buying a 6-link is actually rather expensive. But yeah, anyways, enough of that. You know now that it's based on bow, and also you get ranged if you go with a bow. It's either wands or bows to be ranged, simple as that. Or if you use melee weapons like one-handed and use a ranged ability like lightning strike or something like that. But enough of that. Here you can see my passive nodes. I pretty much only go for as much attack speed, survivability, and iron reflexes, as you can see. Grabbing the strength and intellect nodes wherever I go, pretty much, because I pretty much need them. The intellect nodes I need for leveling up the spells, because cast on Critt can only cast spells, basically. So, and most spells are actually blue. There are at least 2 that are green, and 1 which is actually effective, so you can just ignore this if you plan on only doing that. But I run this way at least. Grabbing as much health I can, and then I went here getting the point blank, because when this means so projectiles deals more damage the closer they are, and most of the projectiles I'm gonna shoot with this build are actually meant to be used at close ranged. Actually, even shotgun effect, if you know what that is, when I just cast on Critt with lots of projectiles and I shotgun them, I stand so close that every projectile hit them. And if I wanna stand afar, I don't really use that many projectiles. It's more like AoEs, like Cold Snap or something like that, which I'm gonna go through and show you guys in a little bit. Then I went up here and grabbed this, because this is pretty much as much crit on a bow you can get. It's 120%. It is a rather long way to get there, but since point blank and thick skin is on the way there, I think this is definitely worth to take. You can, if you want to, just skip this entire area and just go straight up here and start getting higher crits up here, but most of the crit I actually get is basically just from this and this and this. I don't get, like you can see, I don't have these nodes, because I'm too much of a glass cannon to take these nodes. I want to take them in the future, but too much of a glass cannon to do that right now, and it's only 15% crits. They are not really worth it. You can see these 15% I've already taken. Should not have done that as of now. I should have gone for more HP, but yeah, whatever. I went up here, getting these. Taking this way is definitely the best because I am actually using, as you can see here, iron reflexes. You can do this with just pure evasion rating if you want to as well, and try and come from here to here or something like that, or just go up here and get into acrobatics. That works just as fine. It's just that I don't really like to be a super glass cannon and evasion rating based, because of the simple reason that you can just survive handy dandy, nothing happens, and then all of a sudden boom, you get one-shotted. Like, I don't really like that. So I actually like to when I get hit, I want to not die from it, and I already got rather low HP, so if I went evasion rating based, I would definitely get one-shotted by loads of stuff. So I'm actually trying to get more HP. You can see my HP is really low, but I actually got a decent armor. You can see here I'm running Grace, and so my armor is 57%. It's not the best, mainly because I'm using stuff like this, but I'm trying to get as much evasion rating as possible to get as much armor as possible. And right now with this build, I'm pretty much done with crit for now, and I'm actually just trying to get HP. You can see I'm sitting close to quite a bit of HP nodes. I got the HP there and here, and also I'm taking these because I'm trying to fit in one more aura. As of now, Purity of Elements, but in the future, if I get better gear, I maybe don't even need this, but I can fit in another aura. That would actually make quite a bit of this difference. So that's that. But I just come up here, grab aura nodes, because I at least want 2 auras, which is Grace and Haste. Haste definitely increase my crit a lot because it's a 15% attack speed with this, and it's not even 15%. The tooltip does lie here, I believe, if I remember correctly, because I have stuff that, as you can see here, increase effect of aura cost, increase effect of aura cost, and increase effect of aura cost. I don't think, if I recall correctly, I don't think they are in this tooltip, but even if they are, a 15% increased attack speed and an 8% increased movement speed is actually lots. So I definitely recommend getting the auras, especially also since it will buff up your grace and buff up the defensiveness of your overall character. You can go in and get attack speed and everything, that works really well. Here you can go attack speed as well, but it's not really that great of attack speeds nodes, and I definitely think I'm already too much of a glass cannon, so definitely just going for the crit and the huge attack speed nodes wherever I can is definitely the way I should go. So I just go up here, go through Harrier, go through these area nodes, and go up here to get to this place, because this is pretty much the bread and butter of your build. Getting some more defenses here, HP and strength. The strength is actually very good, so you can level up like reduce mana or stuff like that, or if you want a red aura like determination or something like that. Grabbing these aura effects, grabbing these crits. I should probably only go for those two and skip those for now and get more HP and everything. And as you can see, I'm close to much HP here, here, down there. I can even take 1 point here, so I can get these. I can take 1 point here, and I'm close to these. 1 point here, and I'm at those. So I can get quite a bit of HP. There are actually loads of HP close to me. I can try and go to that one, but it's a little bit far away, but I can boom, boom, and boom. It is a 12% maximum life and 2 strength, and this is some attack speed and dexterity. It doesn't really hurt, but maybe not the most efficient if you want to go tanky, but it definitely helps. Also, there's a 4% movement speed there, which does help. But yeah, so definitely want to get here. And then I go to this assassination here. You can see it's at 220%, well, it actually is 3 20% crits, which is actually rather slightly higher than normal. As you can see, there are 15. And you get this, which is a 40% crit, which is actually really good. And then I went through here to get this more intellect mana, and like I said, intellect is actually very key to this build because the spells you level up are actually intellect based, so you need quite a bit of intellect so you can actually level up those skills. And crit chance, getting these amazing life nodes to 12% and then a 20 life, 20 mana, and this incredible attack speed node. And this is pretty much what I am right now. I also take this maximum power charge here because I have a chess piece that actually makes all my crits grant power charge. You can run power charge on crit, but it will take up one support gem, and gems in this build is just insanely powerful. I mean, the difference of a 4 link and a 5 link is huge. But that's the key, getting the crits here and crits here and here. These are the most important. This is loads of crits for not that many nodes. This is loads of, and this is loads of. I also got this increase critical strike multiplier for spells, and that is basically because I got so much crit, and so my spells will actually crit sometimes. I'm not entirely sure, even though if this actually works, because I've not done the exact research if spells can crit and how they works, because if you shoot an attack that shoots like 3 arrows and it crits, all 3 arrows crits, and that got a chance to trigger the spells through custom crit. But I'm not entirely sure if that also grants them a guaranteed crit. So I'm actually thinking of getting Doomcast, but if that's the case, then Doomcast does nothing for me. But if the spells themselves cannot crit, then this is pretty much worthless as well. But I'm not entirely sure about that, so for now I'm not really... I was just one step to this, and I was like, okay, if it works, it's very good. I didn't really notice a big difference right away, but it might work. I'm not entirely sure about that, and if you know, then please tell me. Since I'm also running bow, you could do some other stuff, like you could go up here and get these acrobatics, and you can go through here getting some crit there, and the chance of pierce will actually help quite a lot to get more crits. You can also go up here and take this, and it got this, knockbacks enemies if you get a critical strike with a bow. So if you got a bow, sorry, oh god, my throat, sorry for that. There are actually a bow that actually got quite a bit of high crit chance instead of attack speed, but it's more expensive as well, yeah, blah da da da. But if you run that build instead, then your auto attack's actually gonna do some damage, because as you can see, my attacks, the actual hits I do auto attack wise with this bow is just ludicrously low. It doesn't do anything. So if you actually got a bow that do some damage and want it to be custom crit, then getting these kind of nodes are not really that bad. But for me it is, because this and this doesn't do shit for me. This one is a 20% crit chance, which is fine, and the pierce would be good, but it's too many nodes for not much of effect. And same here, it's arrow speed doesn't do much, and damage with bow, and damage with bow, damage with bow. 2% attack speed does something, but it's not much. Arrow speed, attack speed, knockback. So if I were to go here, the only thing I would gain on is basically the low attack speed, the knockback, the pierce, and this crit, which is not that many nodes considering that it is so many nodes. It's 6 nodes here, it's 4 nodes here, and it's a little bit of a way to get there. Sure, if you get that way, you can go here and connect through this way and just completely skip this part if you want to. Just that you got the reflexes here, and you got the charisma here in the middle, so you want to get this as anyways, and this, and you actually got quite a bit of crit nodes here when you get to higher level, when you are like, okay, I'm tanky enough, I can just get more crits. Just make the clear speed, it's so much more efficient. But if you run a bow that actually got quite a bit of damage, I could actually recommend going here, because that would actually be rather cool, rather good. You can actually go through here as well. You got critical chance and damage here. I didn't go here because it's actually not that much critical chance per node. You can see the first one does nothing, and then it's 8, 8, 8, and 16, which is actually not that much considering, like, I could just go here, and it's 15 per nods, which is close to like twice the amount of this. But that again, it's if you want to run with a Quill Rain, I would recommend going like this. But if you run with a bow that actually does some damage, you can definitely take these kind of stuff and actually do damage with an attack that you trigger the crits with, as well as the actual crits. You can see I don't really increase that much spell damage with anything. So I would definitely rely on many crits and many spells instead of just heavy spells. But yeah, enough talk of that. Going through the gear real quickly, what you definitely need with this build is the Quill Rain. If you want to have this custom crit bow, you can use another custom crit bow with higher crit and lower attack speed, but I use this. And if you use Quill Rain, it's pretty much key that you use the Thief's Torment Prismatic Ring. What this does is it gives you 15 mana gain for each enemy hit by your attacks. This is crucial because, like for example, if I just put the barrage in here and just start spamming away, you can see the mana just goes down super quickly. And that's without going with a chain or greater multiple projectile, which is very good when you run custom crit. So you can see it just depletes so fast, so you definitely need this. It's also very good for survivability, especially with the Quill Rain, because you attack so fast. And it got mine got a 26 life gained per hit. I think it can roll between 20 and 30. The downside with this ring is that it doesn't have that much resistance. Sure, it's 19 all resistance, which is okay-ish, but it disables you from having a second ring, which actually does huge on you. So there are definitely some downsides with running that, but I think that the mana on hit and the life on hit is definitely worth it. And the reduced effect of curses is also rather good, and increased quantity of items found is also very good. And you can have higher resist on this and higher life on hit, but it will be expensive as shit. The third key thing I used to my build is the Vault's Protector. This is a armor piece that gives very little protection, so keep in mind if you choose this armor, you will be quite the glass cannon. But it actually increases my clearing speed a lot, because I gain a power shot for each enemy you hit with a critical strike, and I hit quite a bit. And I can have 5 power charges, because you can have 3 normally, and I have 1 extra, and then I took 1 extra from the bandit camp, so you can see I can get 5, and that is a 250% extra crit chance. So my crit chance is actually rather low for being a custom crit. It's only 23.4, but like I said, I rely on fast attacks and many crits through that way. Not really a high percentage of getting crit per attack, but I shoot so many attacks per second that it's actually a rather high attack, rather high crit chance just because of that reason. And especially when I get the procs, it increases it to like 35% or something like that. You will see in a second. So I definitely use that. The rest of the gear is just gear that I completely just try and get to just bump up my defenses as much as possible. You can see here my cold resistance is extremely low, and like I said, it's hard to get good resistance because you run this two-handed bow. You can have a quill with lots of resistance. Your ring doesn't have that much resistance. HSP's got no resistance, and you cannot have a second ring. But yeah, for this reason, I would actually recommend to just dump as much cold resistance as possible, and just opt to go for fire and lightning, and get a immune to frozen effect piece. There is a ring which does hurt a little bit with this build, because that way you cannot have these, which I think is more important. But you can actually get I don't remember what it's called, howling something, headpiece that reduce the mana reserve for auras and increase the level of auras that you run, which is very, very good. Or you can run these low level boots. Not the best, considering they have no resistance whatsoever, but you cannot get frozen. I'm sorry, my throat is not with me today. Give me a second, I'm gonna be back. But yeah, anyways, getting frozen is devastating, and you can have something that dispels frozen. It's just if you're up against something that does frozen a lot, You'll have to spam the potion a lot, which is not very possible. So I'm gonna run these boots as soon as I actually can link them together, because in my boots I'm running my auras. And my boot just of now is just as much resistance as possible and movement speed. No HP, which is a little sad, and like I said, this got no HP as well. So when I switch boots, I will be a little slower, and I will be less resistance to fire, which actually hurts quite a bit. But if I get this done and link it together, I might actually also be able to run the Purity of Elements, because as you can see, I can run it. It's just that I get no mana back whatsoever. But if I can choose, if I can run Purity of Elements here together with the reduced mana gem here,
My spirit
I
is
might
spent.
be able to have just enough so I can cast the spells. And as you can see with this one, I get mana back every time I hit with an attack, and I actually use attack that hits more than once. For example, if I use Barrage here, which chooses 4 projectiles in total, 3 additional plus the 1, so it's 4. It gives 4 times 15 mana, and it's really a lot. So that's no problem if I have a low mana pool. It's just that I need enough, which is also why I'm getting this one, because 6% life compared to 8, it's not that much of a difference, and if I just can be able to run an additional aura, that would be great. But yeah, anyways, I think that's enough for the gear. The rest I just gear with as much HP and resistance as I try to get. This one I pretty much use for a super high lightning resistance and some more resistance, and it got a critical chance, which is nice, but it's not that much. Just getting as much resistance on the rest pieces as possible. You can have more resistance on the quiver as well, but I found this and I was like, I'm gonna use this instead, because it got quite a bit of strength, dexterity, and intellect. So it actually helped me quite a bit just there. The intellect to level up the gems, the strength to get some HP, and to be able to level up, for now at least, my only reduced mana. You can see 97 strength, I got 133. If I remove this, it's 130, so you can see it's actually rather close to this. It's not that close, but it's quite close. And the dexterity for just everything that it gives, hit chance and more evasion rating. And it also got a rather nice 9% attack speed, which is real nice with this build, because as many attacks as possible is what I want to go. It also got an additionally 6 life gain per hit, which is actually quite a bit considering that I hit a lot with Barrage, which is the custom crit spell I use. Oh, I'm gonna throw it there. There are some other varieties you can choose, which I'm gonna go through in a second. But it actually gives quite a bit, especially together with this. And it also got a 10% increased radius of area skills, and I actually use quite a bit of area skills. Like for example, Flame Search we could use, Freeze Pulse, that's projectile, I don't think it goes on that, but Cold Snap, Firestorm or something like that, I'm gonna go through that in a second. So I just found this and thought it was good. I believe I have... Yeah, this is one that I use if I have Ethereal Knife, because increased projectile speed increases the range of Ethereal Knife. But you can go a quiver with just as much resistance as such as possible. Works just fine. Potions I'm running are 2 HP potent that both give high evasion rating, and both of them have recharge 1 when you deal a critical hit, which means I can use this pretty much whenever I want. I got a Quicksilver's Flask, which got also recharge 1 shot when you deal a critical streak, and dispels burning, which actually is rather okay, because if I get burned, it actually takes quite a bit of my HP if I have nothing to attack. So if I just get burned by the last enemy and there are no enemies around, I can just pop this. Otherwise I would just pretty much burn down and be like here in next fight. And I got the Jade Flask, obviously, because when I need to get tanky I just pop this. Also dispels burning. I just got that by pure luck. I just tried to get the recharge 1 turn when you deal a critical strike. That's what one I was going for, and I got the dispel burning, and I was like, well, that's fine, because I'm using this quite a bit just to get around. And then I have a Diamond Flask, which is your critical strike chance is lucky, which means it rolls your crit twice. The way it works is pretty much if you attack, the game got a 23.4% crit chance, so it rolls and sees if it crits. This actually rolls twice, which means basically it doubles your crit chance for a short time. And I tried to get reshot one shot when you deal a critical strike, but I didn't get one, and I was like, and then I actually looked it up, and you cannot get reshot this when you get critical strikes, because that would be too OP with this kind of build. So I was like, okay, fair enough. But I'm still gonna use it for big bosses and such. So this is pretty much what I run. I also got curses here. I got critical weakness, which gives a whopping 9% chance to crit them, which is very nice with my build, considering that I attack fast. Compared to if you just attack slow, then this would still give a 9% crit per strike, but you don't attack that fast if you go dual wands or something like that. I'm also running projectile weakness, which I can choose to use against some of them, because projectile have an additional 46% chance to pierce, could be nice, but mainly also for the knockback effect. They have a 15% chance to get knockback, which is actually quite okay with this build. So you can run both of these, and you can see my critical weakness cost way less mana, but it's also require way less HP level because it's so low. Then my critical here, which you can see is a level 58. But yeah, that's the guy all in all, and now I'm gonna go through the abilities and combinations you can do instead. Sorry, this video will be kind of lengthy, but I will cut from here on to a combo and just tell you the combo and then show it to you. You will understand. So the first combo I'm gonna use is Barrage with custom crit, obviously, with Shane and Cold Snap.
My spirit is spent.
I did not mean to do that. I'm sorry. And I don't have that much crit chance until I actually get the first crits. And you can see now I got 36% with this, which is really okay. And the strength with this is really that it's very defensive, because most of the stuff you attack will get frozen, and it's a rather okay clear. It's actually rather good damage. Cold Snap usually has a cooldown, or it drains power charge, and since I get power charge when I crit, I constantly have full power charge. It says 4, which is a bug. I actually have 5. I actually tried this. As you can see, it says 36, and with 5 I got 36. So it's actually just a bug. So, and the reason why I use Shane is because this you kind of want to spread out as much as possible, and Shane will make it so it bounces off through the guys a lot. You can use this obviously with split arrow as well, but it's way less efficient single target wise. But it definitely works. You can see that when it comes to single targeting, it's way worse. Just because Barrage, actually every single cast you actually get for attacks. This you only get one, and you can see killing one guy takes quite a bit of time, but clearing many actually does not. And for this reason alone, I'm pretty much only running Barrage for every single custom crit I use, but you can have split arrow as well. And before we go on to the next custom crit combo, I should actually go through just that which I explained. You can get split arrow. You can have split arrow with greater multiple projectile or Shane. It doesn't really matter that much. I would probably prefer Shane unless you have loads of pierce. If you have loads of pierce, I think multiple projectile would be better. But Shane is actually easier for you to hit more targets, especially with the split arrow, because it's less arrows that actually need to hit one and the same guy, and they can bounce off through the same guys that already got hit. So the outer arrow here could actually just Shane on a guy that got hit by one of the other arrows, and that way they can get attacked by multiple arrows at the same time, which greater multiple projectile cannot. You can also run this with lightning arrow, because it already got a small split. Lightning arrow I would only recommend though if you have 5 link or more, because that way you can choose Great Multiple Projectile and Chain. Now, the actual lightning arrow without chain got a very small range on its chain. And I cannot really show you on this, I believe, but it actually got a very short range on there.
My spirit is spent.
The chain. You can see I cannot chain the guy behind until like... Oh, I still cannot. There. It's actually very short. So you can see it's not that efficient. But if you use chain, it actually works way better, because the chain has a super long chain range, and the lightning strike does not. But it actually works together really well. So the chain will shoot if they are far from each other, and the chain from the actual lightning arrow will chain if they are close to each other. But it's only one projectile, so I definitely recommend going this with a greater multiple. But using this with a greater and chain, it costs way much mana, and to use that effectively you definitely need a 5 link, because I could pop in a chain, great multiple projectile, lightning arrow and custom crit, but that is a 4 link in itself. I don't have a spell that will proc on it. And barrage I just pretty much use just because it's good single targeting, because it shoots those arrows that can hit the same target. And if I want AoE, I can use Great Multiple Projectile, which shoots more from the barrage, which enables me to get more projectiles from projectile spells, like Fireball or something like that. Or I use Chain to split up the attacks as much as possible, so I shoot 4 attacks, which then chains up against 4 as well, which is just the same amount of arrows with as a split arrow, just that split arrow actually have to get all the arrows to just hit the target. Well, split arrow actually got more arrows. Sorry, because it's level up and it actually gets more arrows. So these together with chain would get a maximum of 15 hits. Sorry, while barrage, as you can see, it got 1 less. Together with the chain, which means 3 less, because the chain chains 2 times. So this is actually a 4 time 2. Well, 3 since it's the base as well. Well, anyway, so it's 12. This can have a maximum of 12 hits with chain, and this can have a maximum of 15. It's just that this actually needs to hit 5 targets, while this you can only just shoot and 1 guy on the front, and it actually will chain to the rest then. Yeah. It does more of the work for you, and this is way better at single targeting. So even if this is better at big AoE packs, if you get a single targeting attack, single target fight, this actually deals quite a bit, because every volley hits 4 times. This only hits 1 time. So that's the main reason why I only use barrage when it comes to spells to, well, attacks rather, to get the custom crit. But you understand that there are multiple. And to buff up the effect of custom crit, I use either chain or great multiple projectile. Chain to get more attacks and wider, because if I only use great multiple projectile and barrage, it will only crit on where I shoot. With the chain, it will just chain around all of them like crazy. So I use that together with Colston and such. But moving on, we're gonna go through the next custom crit. This time we're gonna have the barrage with custom crit, chain and firestorm. Keep in mind that these are resistant to fire as well.
My spirit is spent.
can see, this can cover a big area with loads and loads of damage. Rather hard to see through though. But you can see you can get some crazy fire going on. That's more if you are quite satisfied with your survivability, because this does not add any to the survivability compared to Cold Snap, which is probably like the safest spell to use. Next up, we run the same Barrage, Chain, Cosmic Critt with Arc. This is very weak single targeting compared to many other Cosmic Crits, but it is probably one of the highest when it comes to AoE. It just completely evaporates everything. As you can see, it just do so much damage when it comes to 2 or more guys. It's just a single targeting, it's not the best, because just, well, it needs to chain to something. But it's got a insane good damage, and if you got a quality, it even got a high % chance to shock, which is really nice, and that's mainly the damage, that it can do some ludicrous damage, since it got a really low damage but a really high damage, since it's a lightning spell, and it got a good chance to shock, and it chains insanely good together with chain, and it hits so many targets. It's just absolutely insane, and can get loads of damage out of that. Next up, we got Barrage, Chain, and Cosmic Critt with Glacial Cascade. This actually deals a surprising amount of damage just because it can hit same target more than once. And it got a decent survivability as well, just because it deals some well, ice damage, and it got quite the chance to actually freeze them. Not really freeze though, it's more like chill. But it actually does a really surprising damage. It got rather low range though. But if you want to make this build super defensively and really easy to manage, you can actually... Yes, I'm gonna kill those. You can actually run this together with, instead of a Chain, you can run a Barrage, Cosmic Critt, Glacial Cascade, and an Ice Wall. That is because the Ice Wall will actually... Well, the Cosmic Critt, the glacial effect, you can see it actually goes through the ice wall. So the ice wall will push them back, while the glacial cascade just goes straight through them, and it can be really used to combine for really good defensive uses. Oh. So if you really want to be on the safe side, you can use Glacial Cascade together with Frost Wall. It's probably one of the most defensive one, together with Chain, together with Cold Snap. Next up, we got a Flame Surge. The same setup, the Chain and Flame Surge. This is something that I don't really recommend going, and just keep in mind my Flame Surge is only level 4, require level 28, so it's not the highest. It got a Pierce. The Flame Surge itself pierces, but the range is low and its damage is incredible, but since mine is low level, it's obviously not incredible. But the range is so low that it's actually hard to hit with many targets, and it is best if used against something that is burning, since it got 15% extra damage if they are burning. But if you can manage to get a 5 link, then you can actually get some surprising amount of damage with this, together with either Firestorm or Fireball, because both of them got quite a good chance to burn them. But it's a possibility, that's why I got it in here. We got Ethereal Knife as well. For that reason I'm gonna remove Chain, so you will not see as many crits, but I don't have a correct falling to show this together with Chain. But it basically shoots out Ethereal Knives, as you would guess. And if you want to have Ethereal Knives, I recommend getting as much increased projectile speed as possible, because that increases the range of Ethereal Knives. And you can actually get Ethereal Knife to be really effective, because it's got loads of damage. And if you get some increase projectile speed, it actually got an insane arc. Actually, loads of enemies to be able to hit with that very, very, very easily. Next up, we got the Storm Call, which I don't really like that much because it's rather hard to use. I don't think this Storm Call is high level, no. No, level 39, why level 39? I don't like using this alone because they pretty much just walk out of the Storm Call. So if I were to use this, I would need a 5-link together with what is it called? Cold Snap. If you use this together with Cold Snap in a 5-link with this setup with the chain, I think this would do amazing damage. It's just that it doesn't work that well if they just walk, because so many of them are just gonna completely walk out of the AoE. Simple as that. You can of course go the old school discharge because you get power charges from the chest piece. I only recommend this though if you have a heavy area of effect, because as you can see it's not that big. You need to be rather close to them. It's incredible damage, but you need to be so close to them. And now we're gonna go through the greater multiple projectile ones, because I use greater multiple projectile with a couple of spells. This guy will take forever. So we're gonna start here with the projectiles that actually benefit a lot from this. We're gonna start with Fireball because that's probably the most interesting one and the best of them. So getting the crits here from Barrage, as you can see, up to 8 arrows fired. So if all of them hit, I can get 8 crits total if I hit with every one of them. And it just shoots out Fireball like crazy. And Fireball can shotgun. And you can actually see here, I'm just gonna shoot in this, and you can see when I get the procs, it's actually an insane amount of damage. It just plows through everything. But it also got the effect to shotgun, so if you stand close to them, multiple of the projectiles will hit the same target. And that's really the best single target damage you can get with this build. It's Barrage with projectiles, great multiple projectile, and just stand close to them. It is rather risky though, but it's definitely the highest damage. Next up, I'm gonna show you Ice Spear. This is a low level Ice Spear, and I don't recommend really doing Ice Spear, but it definitely comes on some potential. You can use it at long range, trying to get the most of the crit chance, or you can just shoot it when they are closer to get the pierce, so you actually can hit multiple targets. But in my opinion, I don't think this is the best of them. Fireball is definitely more damage, and if you wanna use spells at long range, I don't think this is the best. But it definitely works. Next up we got Spark. This is actually rather funny, but not necessarily that effective, just because it bounces off so many walls and such. It's not really going that much in a straight line. But at the same time, this can shotgun exactly like Fireball. But when I actually get the crits, they can go a little however they want. But he can definitely do some crazy damage. Next up we got Freeze Pulse. I think everyone can expect what will happen with Freeze Pulse and greater multiple projectile causing crit. Just choose this Freeze Pulse. The closer you are to them, the more of the Freeze Pulses are gonna hit, and the more damage they're gonna do, because they do more damage at close range rather than long range. This is by far the safest of the greater multiple ones to use, because the greater multiple projectile really wants you to get close, and this one is best of that because it had a rather high chance of freezing, at least shielding. It got a pretty much 100% chance to shield anything with the procs, but it also got a very good chance of freezing them, at least smaller targets. And last we got the Arctic Breath, which I don't really see the main reason to use. You could use this together with Fireball if you get a Fire Blink, and really use it at long range to just pretty much just plow everything through. And this as well can shotgun, but I think that Freezing Pulse does a better job at shotgunning than this. Currently I'm getting no crits whatsoever. We can actually use this.
My spirit is spent.
And you can see here, it's good damage definitely, but it's not as good as Fireball. But if you are in farming zones that got many guys that got high resistance to fire, then go ahead, you can use this instead. It does do the damage, it does do the trick. You can shotgun, so you can hit the same target multiple times if they are close to you. So it definitely works. And that's all the combos I got to show you with a 4 link. When you get a 5 link, you can definitely do something more. You can do something crazy like combining, so you shoot Arctic Breath and Fireball at the same time. Or you can do something that do probably even more damage and use a Fireball together with the chain as well. You will get more crits because you get Barrage, greater multiple projectile and chain, but at the same time the procs will shoot 5 fireballs up to 8 times, well more, and they chain around the enemies. It's insane how much clear that would have against the minions, just smaller targets. It's just incredible you could do that. You can also just simply combine it with an extra fireball, because you can have multiple of the same spell, and it can get loads of fireballs. So getting a barrage, great multiple projectile, concentrate obviously, and then 2 fireballs would actually do loads of damage with fireballs. So there are loads of things you can do with a 5 link, or especially a 6 link. The possibilities are endless. There are even more fun things you can do, which I'm just gonna show you. This is maybe not the best, but you can actually do this. Get a custom crit with Summon Raging Spirit. This is actually very fun. And I would actually kind of love to do a custom crit that is specialized on just these fuckers. Because as you can see here, as soon as I start getting crits, you can see I start getting these minions, and you can see I just get a horde of them. Now mine doesn't do any damage obviously, because I think they are low level, yes, required level 6. And I don't have any increased minion damage or anything like that, but I get loads of them. And you can see like the potential of this, like how much fun it would actually be. Just have a build where I just summon these like crazy. You can do some fun things with it. There are more spells that I didn't include, but these are the ones that I think are most powerful with this at least. You can do something crazy with like Desecrator effect that deals chaos damage over time and summon corpses together with Corpse Explosion. Actually works. But it's not that good because the Desecrator only got 3 charges every 5 seconds, so you would summon like 12 corpses instantly and explode them instantly, but after that you would need to rely on killing enemies. But it would actually be quite a good damage because Corpse Explosion actually do quite a bit of damage. So you can do that as well. Or other things. You can use this with a melee as well, using it with something that hits really fast, like Cyclone for example. Cyclone with multi-strike would mean so many crits, like Cyclone, multi-strike, custom crit, and maybe Shock Nova or something like that, since you're close to them anyways. Or just Ethereal Knife, just it would shoot so many projectiles. You get loads of crits from Cyclone because it hits a lot, and if one Cyclone hit, every attack with Cyclone actually crits. One of them crits. It's just insane. But you can see my Raging Spears doesn't really do that much work on these guys. Mainly because they also resist fire, which is quite problematic. I'm just gonna switch to Fireball, and yeah, now I'm using Fireball with Chain, and now you can kind of see the effect that happens. It's hard to see, but it bounces between them and do some crazy amount of damage. It actually works really well, Fireball with Chain as well. But yeah, that's probably gonna be it for this video. If you think I missed a incredible crazy custom crit combo or spell, then leave it in the comment. And there is a possibility I did. I just went through my stash real quick and just picked out the ones that I'm using and the ones I think you can use. Um, but other than that, I don't think I have anything more to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it was rather lengthy. Quite a bit to go through the actual build and the combination of custom crits. They are endless. They are way more than just these you can do, and you can run, like I said, melee and go pretty much like ground slam, for example, because it hits many targets. You can use that with multiple multi-strike and such, and there are endless ways to build a custom crit character. This is the way I did it, and so far it's a glass cannon that is really hard to play with on hard places because of the cold resistance. I get frozen a lot. If I can get these to work and get just enough HP so I don't get one shot, maybe that I can get these boots together with the Spirit of Elements, I might not get one shot, and I would be able to get HP back up instantly, because that's the thing, I get HP back up super quick with this and this in combination. So yeah, this is probably the most fun to play, at least because there are so many things you can do. It's not like you just level up, let's say for example, oh, what is that ability called? Molten, not Molten Strike, Infernal Blow. Infernal Blow, Marauder or something like that. It means you can use your Infernal Blow all the time. This actually got quite a bit of combinations that you can just choose from and do some crazy amount of mixes with them. And I just think that's really great. If I get a 5 link, I could use Barrage, Cosm Crit, Shane, and Arc together with Cold Snap. That would be great, because Cold Snap just enables them to just stand still and everything, just freezes them, and Arc for the damage, and it would mean loads of clear, and there are loads of endless possibilities you can do here that I really love to do. But it requires farming, so I can get some more level, get more nodes, some more gear. Like I said, I prefer to have the head that gives cold resistance and increased aura effects and everything, and makes me unable to get frozen. That means I don't have to choose these boots, and I can get boots that are even better than these, because these are not the best boots by a long shot. Get better gloves, because as you can see, armor and shield is not what I really want. I want evasion rating, and maybe resistances and some HP would be good. And same with the neck, resistances and HP. This doesn't have any HP or anything whatsoever, so there are definitely loads of stuff that this character still needs and wants, but it can definitely get there and be incredibly good, and you can use so many defensive abilities, so it's rather okay going class cannon. But there are gonna be enemies that are really devastating for you. Lightning Thorn is the main one of them. You're gonna die instantly if you run up to them. I don't know how you're supposed to handle them, because the life on hit you get from these doesn't work that well against the Lightning Thorn. I have no idea how to play against them. But yeah, that's gonna be that. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe. Leave a like, add a comment, add a favorite, whatever you want to do, share it. I always appreciate it. It's fun for me, and I hope it's also fun for you to watch this video. My custom crit Duelist, there is no real reason for you to be a Duelist. I just had a Duelist, and this opening is actually rather good for defensive purposes, and you can get the acceleration. But you might as well start as a Ranger. You just go through here, get the bow crits and everything, and maybe even go up here. And yeah, you can, if you start a Ranger and want to be a custom crit as fast as possible, you can go through here, getting some life notes so he actually survives. Then you can go up here and just straight up here, and maybe just, yeah, whatever you want to do here. If you want to go through here, or yeah, whatever you want to do. And I actually leveled up this character as a custom crit together with a friend, so my friend actually had to carry me a bit because it was rather weak until I got a rather high custom crit, and I didn't have my Thieves Torment at the time, and yeah. But once I got everything together, it's definitely my most fun build to play. I can tell you that. You can actually start this as a shadow as well. As you can see, you're really close to the opening here. And you can actually go the attack speed here, the movement speed, and projectile damage, because these actually counts on all projectiles spells as well. So you can actually go through here as well, or just go through here. Or, yeah, you can do whatever you want to do. Elemental damage, well, whatever. So there's no real reason this is a duelist, and this is not really a guide. It's more to show off my character, how I build him, and give you a thought of how you can build it. That's the thing I think is most fun about Path of Exile, that you can build your own character. I never follow a guide, so every guy, a champion or character, you will see that I post are builds that are made for from me. I might have taken some cool aspects from someone else. Like for example, I wanted to do a custom crit, but I choose the Quill Rain because I saw someone else use it, and I stole that idea, and I was like, okay, that's really cool because it's ranged and it shoots fast. That's really cool. So I actually stole that idea, the Quill Rain and the Prismatic Ring, the Thief's Torment. But the entire build is not anywhere close to his, I believe. So there are definitely differences, and I don't follow the guides. I never do. So if someone of you go like, oh, this is already taken, yes, of course it might be someone that done the exact same build, even because there are loads of players in Path of Exile, but I didn't necessarily take it from anyone. It's just that I took some ideas from someone else and learned from them, and from that I built my own build, and that's kind of what I wanna give you guys, and reason for you to kind of build your own build, because following a guide in a game that is pretty much all about building your character, I think that is a little weird. So I only build my characters myself around what I think is cool, around abilities I think is cool, and nodes I think works good together. So for that reason, this guy became quite a bit of glass cannon, because I wanted to level him as a custom crit. So I rushed these crit, and I rushed through this way actually to get less nodes to get there. Rushed this way to get to this and this, to just to be able to get some crit, so I actually could do the build to actually get a custom crit. And this worked, but I became such a glass cannon, and later on I started to get these kind of things, the iron reflexes, the thick skin, went through here, and just starting to pick up some health nodes. And then when I got through this side, which is the side I want, because there are more crits here, aura effects and everything like I talked to before, I just took away these points, respect those. And yeah, that's how I did it. And you can see there are loads of ways you can do it. You can completely skip this side if you want to, and do like I said before, go this arrow and this arrow. You can actually go this HP as well, go from this side, get this HP, and this side to get that HP, and they get this. You can get the evasion rating plus HP here, which is also very good. There are endless possibilities. Getting these as well, this would actually be rather cool, because it's 2 points for 50%. It's just that for me to get there is 1, 2, 3, 4 points until I can actually get them. And 4 points of these are actually going to be more critical chance in the long run. But it would actually be really good to actually go here as well. So yeah, but anyways, I'm not gonna drag out this video any longer than I already have. If you enjoyed it, then please subscribe and leave a like, and I will see you guys next time.